Blog Talk Radio.
And it's another episode of C.S.I, Crime Scene Investigation, brought to you by the Men Empowered Radio Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network at blogtalkradio.com. It's a Tuesday, April the 30th, 2013. If you'd like to join in on our show conversation while we are here live, you can hit us up at 347-205-9279. And you can chat with us right there in the chat room at blogtalkradio.com. So if you're ready to make a comment, you press 1 on your phone anytime, and we will plug you right into our show conversation. And as always, our office here at the Men Empowered Organization is area code 504-484-9388, as well as our email address is menempoweredtoprosper@yahoo.com. And yes, we are on twitter.com. And you can find yours truly, Maurice Heron, sometimes on and sometimes off on facebook.com. Tonight's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about the movie 42, Jackie Robinson's story. Talk about our history as the world looked into our history in film about Jackie Robinson. When you see Jackie Robinson being persecuted, you also see us being persecuted. We're going to be back after a few messages, and we're going to talk about those. So stay tuned. We'll be right back right after this. And we're getting ready to talk a little bit about the movie 42. A lot of things going on in news as well as throughout the world. The Men Empowered Organization would like to take this time and offer our condolences to my good friend in music, Lionel Jones. His music in the background. Some of you who are on Facebook probably don't know, but Lionel Jones' father passed away last night, and we'd like to take this time and to wish him and his family our much sincere condolences on the loss of his father. Believe me, I know, Lionel, what you're going through, because I lost my father 3 years ago. I was so thankful that I had the opportunity to take care of my dad in the last days that he had. Although my dad was independent, loved to be on his own, but he needed daily care. And I was so thankful and blessed to have been a part of his life those last couple of years, as I brought him lunch daily, took care of the bills as best as I could, as well as to do the cleaning up around the house. Would you believe I miss all of that? Even though I didn't have time to do it, but I made the time to do it. And right now, I just know, Lionel, what you're going through, the fellowship that you and your dad had, I understand. But I tell you, it will always, his life, I know, will always be in your heart on the things that he has deposited in your life. So my sincere condolences, reaching out to you and your family in your time of bereavement. Lionel, we just thank you that your dad was able to bless you in your life to bring us some fantastic music. And just remember, you have brothers and sisters right here on the Men Empowered organization that cares for you. And we're coming up close to about 18 minutes after the hour. We are now talking about the movie 42. We've had two movies that were a significant part of our history. And just want to let you know that this thing that we're in about our civil rights, most of you all know, if you're living in the South, such as I am here in New Orleans, as well as in the civil rights area of Hattiesburg and Laurel, Mississippi, we've had, I believe, the summer of in the 60s, I forgot what year, but we've had freedom riders that came through here in the 60s. And this month, or as well as this week, marks the anniversary of that. They did some marching through Hattiesburg area to let people not forget and to say to their congressmen as well as their representatives to have this particular bill is certified, that it stays on the books as being a civil rights for blacks, not for minorities, for blacks, because they discriminated against blacks and not other minorities. I know there are new minorities in the United States now. I know the Latinos and Hispanics have now come to the point where they have surpassed the population of the African American community. But we've had the mayor of Tuskegee, Alabama, come through. I believe his name is Johnny Ford, came here and brought out some significant points about keeping this civil rights bill alive and make it distinguished from any other bill, not letting anyone else, not letting the homosexual, gay and lesbian movement jump on that civil rights bill, not letting Hispanics jump on that civil rights bill. This is a bill that is exclusively for blacks only, because who did they discriminate? They discriminated against African Americans, who we know as are the Hebrew children of Israel. So this particular bill, the civil rights bill, pertains to blacks only, because they discriminated against blacks, not gay and lesbian movement, not the Latino movement, not the Native American movement. They discriminated against blacks. The civil rights bill is for blacks only, exclusively. Now, for more information on that, you need to get a better in-depth study. Who can do this a lot better than I can? His name is Dr. Claude Anderson. And if you want to check him out, you Google or do a YouTube clip on inappropriate behavior. And when you see that series, he did this particular series at Crenshaw Christian Center by Dr. Fred K. Price, who is the leader and a pastor of that. So for more information on the Civil Rights Bill being exclusively for blacks, you need to check out Dr. Claude Anderson's Inappropriate Behavior, and you will understand why our leaders need to jump on this to make sure Congress and the representatives know for a fact that this is an exclusive for African Americans only, exclusively for African Americans only. Now, in the movie 42, like I said before, my wife and I went to see this movie about a week or so ago, and we got some historical points that come out of that. Now, this is the second movie on Jackie Robinson. The original was played by Jackie Robinson himself. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that was Ruby Dee was playing his wife in the movie. Very good movie. It hit some key points in that movie as well as in the current movie, because when he reported to training camp for the Montreal organization, and when they had to come down to Florida to play and team up with their counterparts, the Brooklyn Dodgers, they were in Sanford, Florida. Now, they had an ordinance as well as ordinances all over the South. Blacks and whites cannot participate in any sports. Everything has to be segregated. Because he was on a white team, they said that this was an illegal game, and so therefore Jackie couldn't score. You're going to see that in the movie on that. But they make all these laws, and what my friend would say, Gabrielle would say, they make up these in-laws. And I don't want to say the word, but you know what I'm saying when I say the N-word. And you call those in-laws. And when they make up these in-laws, those are pertaining only to us as African Americans. You can't go here. This is whites only water fountain. This is whites only section of the bus. You ride at the back of the bus. All blacks report to the back of the bus. And one thing that I saw in the new movie that they put in was that they went to the airport in New Orleans when they were traveling. And so the stewardess didn't like the fact that they were going to ride on his plane. And so they were trying to bump them from the plane, and they gave it to another couple, a white couple, and they took the tickets and they got on that plane to head to Florida. Well, Jackie Robinson's wife was so upset with that, and she looked at that restroom and it says whites only, white women only. She looked at that and she went right into that restroom and used that restroom. Now, for her to be in New Orleans, Louisiana, that was boldness on her behalf to even go into that. Yes, I know New Orleans is predominantly black, or was predominantly black, but since Katrina, things kind of going half and half now. But the fact is, New Orleans and this half and half population on both sides elected a white mayor this time. His name is I don't forget his name, his first name, but his last name is Landry, I believe. And he's making some good headway. He's doing what I would say from the outside looking in, even though I'm not a resident. I have an office there in New Orleans. But it seems like he's doing a pretty good job for as race relations with blacks as well as whites, with good relationships on both sides. He's for all the people. It's what I like to see. And it seems like he's doing a little bit. He's doing good. New Orleans still has its issues. One of the issues is that he is bumping heads with the Orleans Sheriff's Department, far as prisoners, I believe. And but it'll work itself out. I think they'll come to a conclusion. It'll work itself out. But they were at the Lakefront Arena, and for all that to happen, if you know New Orleans like I know it, Lakefront Arena now is just not a commercial airport. It's just for private airports. They have the New Orleans International Airport now. But just to see that in the movie, to know that they got bumped and they had to take a bus, and on the bus they had to get into the colored section of the bus. And that was a long bus ride all the way down to Sanford, Florida. Well, they didn't like the way Jackie was showing out in the training camp. And so some of the people that were inside the city where he was staying at, the Klan, I can see it. When you look at the movie, you'll see it. The Klan was already ready to run him out of there, because Jackie was stealing bases, hitting ones and double hitters there. He was doing it all. and it was something to see. Let me know if you got any comments while we are here live at 347-205-9279. Let's go ahead and listen to this recent commentary that I've got going on now. Our commentary on Thursday of WJMG will be here Thursday night, right here on the Blog Talk Radio Network show. Here is my commentary that I did last week on Thursday for the city of Hattiesburg and Laurel, Mississippi. Welcome to this edition of the Men Empowered Commentary right here on the Pine Belt's original Urban FM. It is Thursday, March 25th, 2013. My name is Brother Malachi of the Men Empowered Organization. As always, we wish to thank Mr. Vernon C. Floyd and his staff for inviting us here to share with you absolute knowledge and truth. We can be reached at 601-297-2927 and online at menempoweredtoprosper@yahoo.com. And our web address is www.blogtalkradio.com/men-empowered. This past week, my wife and I saw the movie 42, the Jackie Robinson story. If you haven't seen it yet and you plan to, look for some current historical facts as well as some biblical facts. You might say African Americans have come a long way since 1947, given the fact we now have an African American president. In the movie, you will see Jackie was asked to come play for the then now Brooklyn Dodgers organization. He played with one of the teams in Montreal. Jackie was a fine ball player that had the guts not to fight back, but hold his anger in as he faced ridicule and name calling. One of the cities where the team tried to play Jackie was in Sanford, Florida, home of the slaying of Trayvon Martin. In this movie, just like the movie Django Unchained, the N-word was made known. Remember Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 37, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee. So many times I stress this to get the point across to you that we are the people of the Bible. Certain things had to come to pass in order for prophecies to come to pass. Because of our forefathers' disobedience to the word of the Most High, we find ourselves in the state that we are in all over the world. What other people you know, according to history, that the Bible says in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way whereof I spoke unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for slaves. For example, look at just one of the prophecies that had to come to pass for Christ. John chapter 12, verse 12. On the next day, much people that were come to the feast, when they heard that Jesus was coming to Jerusalem, took branches of palm trees and went forth to meet him and cried, Hosanna! Blessed is the King of Israel that cometh in the name of the Lord. Verse 14, and Jesus, when he had found a young ass, sat thereof, as it is written. Verse 15, fear not, daughter of Zion. Behold, the King cometh, sitting on an ass coat. Verse 16, these things understood not his disciples at the first, but when Jesus was glorified, then remembered they that these things were written of him, and that they had done these things unto him. The only group of people I know that were slaves in the world according to history is our people. The only group of people that are called out of their name and described as a proverb and a byword among all nations are our people. Let's look at how society describes Ham, because we did not come from Ham, but they want to categorize us as coming from Ham. Take a look at how this society describes us. Ham, this is the definition of Ham: the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. Now, I want to say to you that we came from Shem, and here you will find the genealogy of Shem in Genesis chapter 11, beginning with verse 10. You will notice that this is the bloodline family of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I've already explained to you in previous commentaries that Jacob had 12 sons, and these sons make up the 12 tribes of Israel. Christ came from the tribe of Judah, who birthed King David and Solomon. What a family and what a history we have here up on the. Like I said before, when you understand the story of Jacob and Esau, you will understand racism. It's not about black or white, it's about 2 brothers. One happens to be black and the other happens to be white. If you want to know what happens to Esau's kingdom, you will have to see the prophecy of Obadiah, and it's only one book in your Bible. From the book that tells all, once you understand this is your history book, you will see the picture of the families that are on the earth today. So I encourage you to pick up your Bible and read about your history and your future. The views and opinion of this commentary is not the opinion of this station and strictly of the Men Empowered organization. I'm Brother Malachi, and this is my commentary. Shalom. And we are back right here. The number to call in is 347-205-9279. We've got about 23 minutes, and we will stay here in the overtime if we have more questions and comments. I want to thank you all for your email. It's much encouraging. Please let us know how you feel about the show, about the material that we report to you. Right now, I want to go into the book that you thought that's going to take a look at our history. The name of the book is "What is Wrong with Being Black?" It's by Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo of the United Kingdom, originally from Nigeria. What is Wrong with Being Black? We did a book review on this a couple of years ago, and the book deals with celebrating our heritage as well as confronting our challenges. Want to look at now at all the laws pertaining to us that made us be second-class citizens. I want to look at the laws, since I'm in the Greater South, I want to look at the laws pertaining to Louisiana, Alabama, and Mississippi, since I'm in those border states. You think you see colors only in the movie that relates to the bathrooms and all of that, but let's go back even further and look at laws leading up to that particular era. Now let's even go into the era where these laws pertaining to us during slavery time. I'm going to try to go ahead and I'm not going to go back in the 1700s, because they did say that this is land of the free, home of the brave. Well, we weren't the land of the free, but we were home of the brave. If you look at some of our people that had slave rights trying to overthrow. One thing that I want to point out to you, you need to research and do some study on, is look up what you find by these two words. Fort, F-O-R-T, Negro, N-E-G-R-O. Look that up. Let me know what you think. That's going to give you a little bit of history about our people in the Spanish territory of Florida. That's right. In the Spanish territory of Florida, you had free blacks, runaway blacks, as well as Seminole Indians. And you'll see what kind of rich history we had in the Spanish territory of Florida. Now, from the book of What is Wrong with Being Black, we want to look at some slavery laws that pertain to us. Now, these laws right here were laws pertaining to us while we were in captivity. Even though they said we were free after the Civil War, it was just slavery, but under another name. All right, let's look at Louisiana in 1806. This particular law is called the Louisiana Migration Law. Forbade immigration for free black males over 15 years old. Let's take a look at 1814. Here's another law in Louisiana. 1814, Louisiana Migration Law. Prohibit free blacks from entering the state. You could not, if you were free, you could not enter the state of Louisiana back in 1814. They put that on the books in 1814. 1816, Louisiana Jury Law provided that no black slave could testify against a white person. Looking at Louisiana again, Louisiana Expulsion Law in 1830 required all free blacks to leave state within 60 days. 1830, look at the Mississippi Employment Law. Forbade black employment in printing and entertainment. So, you know, my thing is on that, that's probably still in existence in entertainment, because when it comes to biblical stories, you could not play the part of Christ, even though knowing that Christ was a black man, knowing that all the disciples were black, knowing that everybody in the biblical Bible were black except for the Romans, King Herod, as well as some of the Sadducees and the Pharisees. Looking at 1831 Mississippi Preaching Law. Now, this is probably where they had the license to. It forbade free blacks to preach except with permission. You got to have permission to preach to other blacks during slavery, because you know they weren't going to preach to no whites. When you understand Esau and Jacob, you will understand racism. I want to hit home to that, and that's why I preach on it all the time. Once you understand Esau and Jacob, you will understand racism, because it's not an individual, it's group based. The descendants of Esau are discriminating against the descendants of Jacob. Now let's take a look at what's next here. Let's look at overall the Southern Black Code in 1868 deprived blacks of right to vote and hold public office. Now, this was probably right after the Civil War. They call it Southern Black Codes. Okay, now those were for the southern states. Let's take a look at some of the northern states, so we won't say that we're biased against other states. We're only picking on the states that were of southern. You know what I'm talking about. 1705. Ooh, this go way back. New York runaway law prescribed execution for recaptured runaway slaves. Now, if you think you were free in the South and trying to run to the North back in that time, the New York runaway law prescribed execution for recaptured runaway slaves. You might as well run until they shoot you, because when they get you, they're going to kill you anyway. 1721, Delaware marriage law forbade marriage between white women and black men. Pennsylvania morality statement condemned blacks for sexual acts with whites. Maybe that's probably why in Mississippi they executed Willie McGee in Laurel, Mississippi, on the Jones County courthouse steps. They executed him for sexual relations of a white woman. Pennsylvania morality statement condemned blacks for sexual acts with whites. Ohio anti-mobility law enacted black laws that restricted blacks' movement. So all of this around after the Civil War, or we thought that we were free in the North. I see a lot of stuff going on here, a lot of stuff. In order for you to get ahead and not to have history repeat itself, you have to know the history. So I remind you, I just wanted to go ahead and bring that out so you know exactly what we've been through, so we won't borderline go on these issues again. When you look at the documentary at Fred Price Church with Dr. Claude Anderson, you will see him talk about a lot of things that we've got to get our act together. Now, I do know I have a lot of whites that are listening to our show. I want to be fair. This is not a race-bait message. This is a historical fact. We are about truth. Now, I love y'all with the love of the Most High. So, just like Christ loves the church, loves the people, and brought the Gentiles in, my thing is all about the truth. If you love Christ, then you will love his truth. Now, if you hate Christ, then put the Bible down and go ahead and act like who your father is, and that's Satan. And that's for anybody, black or white. So just want to say that if you love truth, then let's start putting action to our faith and start looking at this Bible for what it is, and let's start reading the word for what it is. It is what it is. The children of Israel are the African American people, as well as the Native Americans here in the U.S. We weren't brought here to this land. We were dragged here to this land. through ships. And that's in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 68. Read your Bible. If you don't believe all of this, then just throw that Bible away because it's not for you. I feel like that a lot of people see this and it's hard to swallow. Just like it's hard for the people of Germany when they growing up, for them to see all the history that they had to go through during the occupation of Nazi Germany. Well, I hate to tell you, but here in America is Babylon, that has been some occupation here. And it's about the truth and how you can take the truth. Let's take this particular generation that we have now. So much knowledge and truth is coming out. And, you know, the thing about it is these movies that's coming out now, like Django and 42, can kind of take the sting out a little bit of our history. Because even though it is true, it takes the sting out, but it will get you to look at yourself as well as myself, to see ourselves here in this society, to really take a look at what kind of people are we. I'm talking about both black and white. Because a lot of our people, after speaking of African Americans, don't know who they are. They still think they are Gentiles. That's how much work I got to do along with other Israelites. Got to put the word out to tell people that they are Israelites and not Gentiles. I heard a pastor out of Memphis, Tennessee on our local radio station talking about we are Gentiles. That is absolutely false. And I can prove it by the scriptures. He can. Now, my time is just about over with. Just want to let you all know we've been having some network technical difficulties with Blog Talk Radio. So I am doing some makeup shows with the book of Jasher, as well as bringing you all this particular commentary coming up. So I just want to let you all know that if we're not here during the time to do that, we'll either put it off at a later time or another day. But I've got to do a 2-hour special of the book of Jasher this week. We've got to catch up. I want to thank my brother JEWEDuP for producing these shows and putting them on YouTube, giving you all a visual effect of our shows that we have here. I just want to let people know that we're here for the long haul. As the Most High has it, we will be here until there is no more preaching to do. So until next time, this is Brother Malachi going to greet you with the love of Christ. And to all the Israelites out there, I hope you've learned something tonight. We have got to stay on top of our history and seek more knowledge as well as the truth. So until next time, this is Brother Malachi seeking you a good night, good morning, good evening, wherever you are on the World Wide Web. Shalom.
I know who you are. Yeah, I say I know who you are. Yeah, come on. We stiff neck, we wild, we on the corner, wildin' out. We ignorant, we proud, rebellious.
I know who you are, boy, you need some help. Open your mind and free yourself. Truth and knowledge overpowers wealth. Put education on the shelf and take a second look and see which route you took. You fall in love with a bunch of crooks and forget you're the children of that book. To the enemies they told you, made you believe anything they told you, and left you with two decisions. You could choose death or choose religion. But you fell off Jacob's ladder and chose to listen to the master. Got caught in the devil's rapture. Now your life is a whole disaster.
Yeah, I said I know who you are. I know who you are, and I know where you're going.
But the only ones can't see it. Got the truth but don't believe it. Cursed with being disobedient to the days enslaved in Egypt. Then Moses said, let my people go. Still we act like we ain't know who was our father. We didn't even bother to listen. And not to mention we blatantly worship others. We went from one to another. We threw stones at our brothers. When they was trying to just bring us back to the truth, there's nothing wrong with that. Like Stephanos in the book of Acts. All he did was take it back.
Yeah, I said, I know who you are. I know who you are. And I know where you're going. We stiff-necked, we wild, we on the corner, wildin' out. We ignorant, we proud, rebellious, our style.
I know the keepers of the law were standing tall, staying righteous above them all. What's the call, coach? The other teams fit with many men that's lost hope, cause they don't know the identity, but I do, so they envy me. Cause you're a nation of people that's so rebellious, accusers of your brother. When he speaks the truth, you get jealous. But I stay one accord with all my righteous fellas, cause we know who we are, there's nothing else that you can tell us.
Yeah, I said, I know who you are. I know who you are. And I know where you're going. Yeah, I said, I know who you are. I know who you are. And I know where you're going. We wild, we on the corner, wildin' out. We ignorant, we proud, rebellious, our style. To be like them, we try. Our own culture, we deny. So unaware, we blind. We searching for a sign. I know who